Hello! My name is Pei, and if you're a new RuneScape player like me, then you're probably overwhelmed with all the content this game has to offer. But did you trust your favorite YouTubers when they said that you need 99 attack, 99 strength and 99 defense in order to grind the boss? Well, I hope not, because you actually don't need crazy stats and gear to have fun, and this series are going to be a living proof of that. While probably not the most climactic gameplay, I want to start off by showing you how I got my first ever fire cape as a completely new RuneScape player. I watched a lot of guides, and I gotta say, while I respect people sharing knowledge with each other, I just couldn't get over the fact that most of them were shown by maxed out accounts in lower level gear. There's nothing wrong with that. People are creating content on the account that they have, so I get it. It doesn't make sense to create a new one just to show a specific encounter. Fight caves don't really have any hard requirements other than 43 prayer, which you definitely need in order to protect against melee, magic and ranged attacks. I'd say 61 ranged is a good thing to have, just so you can use a rune crossy with enchanted bolts. But Pei, why fight caves? Well, I came to the conclusion that fight caves are the perfect introduction to PvM because I get to know all the different monster types, I'd have to use my prayers correctly, and you know, just some pretty basic stuff that will become my bread and butter in future. As you can see, I started off with base 60 stats, but after a few attempts, my range skill level naturally, so I had enough to equip a dragon crossy. I also have the archer's ring equipped, but I got really lucky with my briar kill, and it took me only 9 attempts to get the briar essence, which at the time sold for around 9 mil. My inventory consisted of cerebrus, restore and prayer pots and some food. I also took my magic shortbow with me because it's a lot easier to aggro the little melee healers on the final wave. On my first attempt, I immediately died. I just died. And died. Then died some more. I couldn't really grasp what was happening at the time, and even trying to prayer flick against one monster was literally rocket science to me.
Total noob. Classic noob.
But you know, as with all things in life, practice makes perfect, right? Well, I got better at the game, but I still couldn't finish off the waves, and I really wanted to get that fire cape, which is by the way the second best slot melee cape in the game. It was until I realized that something was amiss, and that something were rotations. Yeah, you heard me right, rotations. I found out that there's a RuneScape Wikipedia that covers the fight caves, and there's one special section called rotations. This basically shows you where every single monster will spawn in your waves. All you have to do is memorize where monsters from the first 3 waves spawn, and that's when you can select the correct rotation. It's also really important to take note of where the little melee minion spawns on wave 3, because that's where the boss would spawn. This is also true for the yellow major that spawns on the last wave. That's where the boss will appear. This made my life so much easier. You can't even imagine how easy it is to fight through the waves knowing where every monster spawns. You can kite them against walls, you can separate them, and you can manipulate the fight however you want. I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. In this case, after I killed the big major, I immediately moved all the other monsters northeast. This is because I want to get as many monsters as I can to get stuck behind walls, which is exactly what happened. Now all the tough monsters are separated, and I can just get rid of them one by one. After the last melee monster was done, I moved south to aggro the big major towards me, and then moved back to my original position to drag him even further back. Now the only thing that's left to do is to finish off the last monsters and be done with it. Since I knew where the boss spawns, I took this knowledge and immediately dragged the last monster towards the rock with the spawn location and finished him off. Not long after, the boss spawns, and as you can see, he's stuck behind the wall. Now I have time to prepare, heal up and boost my stats. The boss has 2 attacks, magic and ranged. So it's really important to pray correctly, otherwise he will 2-shot or even 1-shot you if your HP is too low. When the boss is down to around 50% HP, he will spawn melee healers. This is where our magic bow comes in handy. In this phase, it's still really important to pray correctly, but you also need to tag all 4 healers and move them away from the boss. If you leave them untagged, they will eventually heal the boss up to full HP, and they're going to spawn the second time, even if you kill them. Pray melee here and finish them off. Now the only thing is left to do is to correctly pray against his range and magic attacks, and you're done. That's what I did, and lo and behold, we got the fire cape. Now we can show off our cheese with the other cheese havers at the Grand Exchange. +1 for fashion and +1 for the insane stats on this cape. Well, hopefully you liked what you saw, because I have a lot more coming, and all of my content will be done with low combat stats and what I think is accessible to everyone without having to grind for years. So I really hope these teasers give you a general idea on what to expect from this channel. Thanks again for watching, and have a good one.